Hi everyone, Neal Smith here. I just wanted to touch base with you all because I just had this idea that what can I do, even if it's just a little bit, what can I do during this time of need to help? And I had noticed that food services is just crazy busy. And so got the idea to reach out, and luckily shout out to Keith Ketcher, a good friend of mine. He's on the board for Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services, and introduced me to Blake. And so I have Blake Young, who is the president and CEO of the food bank. But I also he is the chief fun officer of the food bank. I saw that. That was kind of cool. So Blake, thank you so much for taking the time. I know we've never met before, even though we probably live really close to each other. But can you tell me a little bit about yourself, what you guys are doing, what's going on?
You bet. Well, honored to have the position I've had. I've worked with the organization since 1997, so I think I'm on my 23rd or 24th year. Born and raised in Bakersfield, went into the Army after high school, went to Chico State, graduated, and then raised a family here in Sacramento. So started as a volunteer with Father Madigan years ago. While my wife and I were kind of trying to make ends meet, and went out and volunteered and fell in love with the organization. Had done quite a bit of charity work as a child and as a teenager, a little bit in the Army. So it was natural for me to fall in love with the work, and then it just became a lifelong vocation for me.
Oh, great. Well, that's great. That's awesome. And it's cool that you've been there so long. I mean, that must be so rewarding.
It is rewarding. I mean, particularly now since COVID-19, and I'm proud of our community. I'm proud of the organization and the staff and volunteers who've responded actually tremendously to this crisis. And it just shows that love and kindness always wins out.
I totally agree. Can you give us a brief description of the mission of the food bank and who are you serving?
You bet. So the backbone of the mission is basically we walk hand in hand with people, providing them basic needs and really trying to work with them to move them towards self-sufficiency and financial independence in our family services program. So our core mission is to feed folks. Even on top of that, we dig deeper and try to really provide nutrition and nourish folks, not just provide food. The old food bank way was a lot of canned goods and whatever they got from the grocery stores. And food banks, not just ours, have really moved to the nutrition side of things, and understanding that in Sacramento County, we are higher than the state and national average in food insecurity. As we call ourselves the farm to fork capital of the universe, we are higher than the state and national average. So our goal is to try to use strategic decision-making to build an emergency food network to ensure that children, seniors, families are well nourished, not just during COVID, but all the time.
Oh, that's great. Now, with this COVID thing, I saw some stuff in the news that kind of got me going on this. How much has it doubled? I mean, where's going? Because I saw something like your part of your mission is to serve as 150 families a month. I mean, how is all that going?
So our core mission is we provide food to 150,000 people a month through 220 agencies throughout the county. That's what a regional food bank does. They act as the hub, like a bank, not money, but food. Okay. And all the charities around Sacramento County come and make withdrawals. And then we also have designed programs because the number of people in this situation are so high. So 150,000 people are being fed in our network, but 215,000 people in Sacramento County are food insecure. So Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services continues to provide direct service as well, not just the wholesaler, but the retailer, to ensure that as many parts of Sacramento County are well nourished.
Now, how are you guys doing with all this? I'm sure it's a little stress on you, right? How's all that going with the COVID thing? And
there's a lot of stress on the organization, and that's why we've had to focus some on fundraising, simply because we had to ramp up really quick. You asked how much have we ramped up? More than double, and it's because there's so many folks that have never reached out to a food program before. There's a lot of stress on our agencies. So imagine there's 220 agencies throughout the county that provide food to low-income people. out of the 220, over 120 have fallen off during COVID. And people say, why? And well, it's because that they're mostly volunteer led by senior citizens. And we don't want them out in the community right now. They're vulnerable. So we're pushing more food out with less agencies, which has required us to make new relationships with people that we really haven't had relationships before, big school districts, et cetera. So the food volume right now is not the issue. It's the capacity out in the network to handle this much food. And so we're working really hard to help agencies handle this extra stress.
So my natural thought would be, okay, how can I help, right? And then can I drop off food? Do I donate? What's the best way for an individual to help you guys?
Well, so don't drop off food. We typically, we'd love your food, but right now during COVID, we don't want individuals dropping off food. And a food bank our size deals in semi-truckloads. That's what we do. We're not a small agency that does wonderful work, but you could drop off a sack full of oranges. It would be wonderful. Well, right during COVID, we're trying to minimize exposure for our staff and volunteers. So right now, money. And the reason why I say that is because we can produce 5 meals for $1. Many food banks could do that. That's just not Sacramento Food Bank. Many regional hub food banks can do that. So you give us $1, we turn it into 5 meals, and you imagine what $10 does. So, and again, not any different than other regional food banks, we are supported by average citizens who give us small donations every month. They believe in our mission. They give us $20, $50, $100 a month. That's the backbone of our revenue source. So, you give us $1, we turn it into 5 meals. And we do that because of our buying power. Secondly, a lot of our labor is volunteer, 10,000 volunteers last year. And then we get a lot of donations.
Yeah, I saw that I got an email from you all that next week, May 7th, is the big day of giving. Can you share a little bit? And I also saw that somebody's matching as well. That's pretty cool. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so again, very blessed. We have a lot of support out there from community members, again, who really believe in this mission. And they provide a rather large donation to kickstart a fundraising campaign like this. And there's I think 600 other organizations that people can contribute to. But for ours in particular, we try to take this time just to, again, try to educate folks about what's going on with COVID, what's going on in the emergency food world, and hope that, they give whatever they can. It's a blessing to have this sort of campaign. And I know that a lot of other charities benefit, which is very heartwarming.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Is there anything else that you want to share that about what you guys are doing, or what can we do to help, or is there anything else?
You bet. Well, first, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the Sacramento community. The county's big. We help folks from Folsom all the way to the Delta, and the amount of folks that have supported the organization for years and years, and then have stepped up on top of that during COVID has just been tremendous. And yeah, you referenced the KCRA fundraising drive. That's wonderful. But these are critical revenue pieces for us, because the ramping up and the pivoting. So our team has already pivoted post-COVID. We know we're going to be in this and at very minimum until Christmas. And because so many people have been displaced, laid off, they're not going to be able to miraculously ring the bell and say, okay, I'm back to perfectness, if you will. So we just want to thank the community. We want the community to feel like there's meaningful ways to support. You can volunteer. We have about 80 agencies right now that could use volunteering. If you go on our website, we have agencies listed. We're calling them emergency response agencies. And obviously they can donate anywhere that they feel their heart needs to donate to. But just a big thanks to the Sacramento community and folks like you that jump in and want to get involved and want to get the word out, because what we've realized is during none of us thought a pandemic would happen, but what we found is that the emergency food system is extremely fragile, and the food access to food, if you will, has become the epicenter. And so we want to make sure that long after COVID that the emergency food system, which is comprised of 220 agencies, is whole, and we make sure that that has continued to be funded.
Got it. Wow. Well, I know you're a busy guy, and I want to just tell you, I appreciate the time that you're taking for this, and I hope it does have impact. And one of the things I read up on it that I didn't know is that the food bank is the largest nonprofit provider of human needs in Sacramento. So I want to applaud you for what you're doing and thank you, because that's awesome. That is so cool that what you're doing. And then I also want to challenge everybody out there. Take something that we've done here really quick, find an introduction, find something that you could do to your local community to give, and shoot a video like this, be a thought leader in your community, and go and help everybody. So Blake, hey, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Neal, for your thoughtful and sincere interest, and appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.